Steve, so suppose they do come in by themselves, right? And either you're going to help them work through this separation alone, or you're going to help them kind of look through their mindset that got themselves in this place. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So firstly I get over my resentment at having to work hard, take a deep breath and kind of go, okay, fine. And really from my point of view, it's because I'm really dependent on trying to make some assessment of their partner from their story, which is a lot harder. If I have their partner, I can kind of see them, and even more important, I can see the interaction between them. But if they don't have that, then I'm moving into essentially making educated inferences about like who's the avoider in the relationship, who's the pursuer, what's their conflict style. So I'm essentially just running through asking them some questions designed to get some educated guesses, looking at some of the concerns that they have, their perceptions of their partner's concerns, which is often the weakest part of having it by themselves because I can't actually get that directly from their partner. Um, and so, and then often it's really just sort of about breaking stuff down in stages because often people can come in. It's like it takes so much effort and courage to kind of get prepped up to do the separation. And some people are in a long-term avoidance pattern, but often people who have booked a therapy session can be like really prepped and they're just super ready to go. And part of it is saying, hey, this is important, do this now, but actually this you can kind of just chill out a bit. Um, so helping people with timing and also just basically helping people not have to reinvent the wheel. That's one of my pet things when they have kids. Um, Often people want to do like week about, and like it's a really old kind of crappy plan. And the idea is, it's like kids need structure. Kids need their parents more. And so, particularly where you've got two involved parents doing something that, where possible, splits the week up so the kids are not having to go, particularly children under 5 or under 7, are not having to go for really long periods without one or other parent. Is a that kind of really important stuff that we look at.
One of the things you were talking about in this just reminded me of when I used to practice as an individual therapist. When you come to see an individual therapist by yourself and you have relationship issues, that therapist doesn't really know anything about your partner other than what you tell them, right?
Mhm.
And if you're coming in a sense of distress, we know that anxiety and fear and anger grossly distort, right? So if you are coming out of a relationship and you're kind of using this as like a preparation to get your life together, so maybe someday you'll meet someone, you're like giving away this incredible opportunity to learn more about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Your partner knows all of your good stuff, all of your bad stuff. So I mean, realistically, even when people do come in by themselves, I will still normally make an offer I'll basically talk to them, which will hopefully help some of the anxiety, and then kind of make an offer to see the partner. Now, normally I would offer to see the partner individually by themselves because I've seen the one person individually, so then I see the other person individually, and then bring them both in together. Um, but yeah,
Well,
it's always people's
and for real,
perspectives.
Steve, this is kind of like the quote epidemic of loneliness and depression that the world has, where people don't really connect or communicate or talk through their issues, right? And I think
Also,
couples,
part of why they're separating.
well, right, like we saw this with COVID that like couples, they're living their lives on autopilot, and then everyone gets locked down, and then they actually have to realize who the other person was, and they don't love them that much anymore because they weren't staying connected through time.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, staying connected to another human being is really freaking hard.
Well, and it takes
Like
work.
humans suck a lot of the time. And so learning how to be someone, who is, easier to live with and learning how to collaborate with the particular version of crazy that you live with, both yourself and your partner,
Mhm.
that's a significant endeavor.
So it's
as,
funny.
as I'm sure Bree knows.
Huh,